What's up guys, it's Lusker. Welcome back to another video. Today's video I'm going to be discussing something I think is extremely interesting that has happened in the Multiversus community. I do adore the esports scene in pretty much almost any fighting game. The stories that have been told throughout the ages, like the underdog story, the 6-0, and many others have happened many times with so many different fighting games, and it's honestly just so interesting to watch it all play out. As more and more incredible talent continues to show up, we see moments like this play out in real time. We can't forget about the moments as well where players really show their absolute dominance over another.
Happy feet, WOMBO combo. That ain't Falco. That ain't Falco.
Despite the countless controversies that have happened within the players of the platform fighter genre, luckily we do still have an amazing amount of good times to share throughout the community. We see many different developers create these games that take really interesting angles and approaches to the genre that has pretty much been popularized for well over 20 years now. With a competitive fighting game industry, this sparked a bunch of veteran game developers to come together and make one of the most successful platform fighters to date, Multiversus. Now, let's talk about Multiversus. Multiversus is probably one of the most hyped up fighting games of the entire past decade, breaking records back to back that were absolutely unseen in the entire history of fighting games, especially platform fighters. Multiversus just could not stop breaking records, completely destroying even what had been some of the most established series in fighting game history. People loved what PFG had created, and they wanted more. This was looking to become the next Smash Bros. But it wasn't all sunshines and rainbows for the team. Unfortunately, they ran into many bumps in terms of maybe what should have been a longer development cycle, and honestly, it was unfortunate with how much traffic they had. The servers actually were very unstable and was not fully prepared for the ridiculous amount of players that came on so early. This is an unfortunate fate with many different games that come out during alpha or beta, and this meant that, unfortunately, Multiversus did not have the most long-standing hype. In just a matter of a few months, everybody has managed to call this game dead, or that it had fallen off, when in reality, it's still competing as a top 5 platform fighter right now, with still quite a few thousand players playing on Steam actively, and cross-play on PlayStation and Xbox, meaning that there's still thousands of active players, and honestly, a pretty lively competitive scene.
Steal off the stock now, because like I said, with this fire.
Yeah. So neither was I was hoping.
So good. Finally one finds the mark. There you go, that was working.
They're definitely like, they're definitely
Bad for Chavo to make a little bit.
Oh my god, the miss. And unfortunately, back behind.
Multiversus is at apex. Here we go.
And you're going to be proud of wants to stay in a spot where you can punish that tackle, or the Batarang's going to hit, and then you get the combo off of it. So there's sort of like this zone of tension. Yeah, where you can.
Despite an unfortunate decline in player base, the amount of passion that has come from the Multiversus community has absolutely been revolutionary to watch. There have been many characters who were considered once to be mid-tier or low-tier be brought to the front of the horizon. For example, Ova9K, a tri-state player playing a character named Taz, who for a long time has been considered a very stubby and clunky character, but he's made this once very niche pick look incredibly strong by knocking people out at very early percents and managing to place top 5s in a very stacked tri-state local, Zedistruction. Another player that comes to mind is a player named Retro Wolf, who has been competing in Multiversus Mayhem for many weeks now. He's made this character that, in a 1v1 archetype seems terrible, a projectile heavy character. Sounds like someone you would just smack around, right? Nah, Retro has been managing to place top 3s for many different weeks now against some of the most amazing players around Connecticut. They've even had multiple people from New York attend, and still he managed to place pretty impressively every time. Despite the heavy focus on 2v2, I absolutely love the 1v1 gameplay and flow that has come through in this game. Many people disagree with me and prefer the 2v2 game mode, but as someone who's watched just an incredible amount of amazing sets go down and also have played a ridiculous amount of awesome matches in the 1v1 setting, I love it, and I really feel like it is such an amazing step in the right direction in this genre. Speaking of 2v2s, you guys remember that 6-0 comeback thing I was talking about earlier that tends to happen? The Cinderella stories that fighting games are notorious for, the underdog story, the 6-0, and many others have happened many times. Yup, that happened in Multiversus too. Let me introduce you to the set of Nakat and Void versus RoseJ and Mirrorman. 4 of the most talented players to ever come to Multiversus so far. On an absolute run of a lifetime, brand new platform fighter players Mirrorman and RoseJ managed to run through an entirely stacked EVO 22 Multiversus tournament, not even being put close to being put in a double elimination situation. In a tournament which has a massive prize pool and is probably the most iconic fighting game tournament in gaming history. Not only did we have 2 new players coming in to Multiverses, we also had 2 Smash veterans, Void, a legendary Sheik player in Smash Ultimate. And then we have Nakat, who has been playing, I believe, since Brawl, and is known for his Sora and Pichu in Smash Ultimate. How about I just show you exactly what happened?
Mirrorman qualified for the winner side of Grand Finals, knocking Nakat and Void into losers.
Mirror, what did you think about that?
I'm not surprised.
Crowd, did y'all hear that? Are you scared of anyone in this bracket?
No.
Well, y'all heard that.
Alive, Mirrorman struggling to touch the ground in every way. Up there finds it, and that's gonna be it. Void and Nakat are your EVO 2022 Multiversus champions.
Let me talk to you real quick. Do not talk trash.
He wasn't surprised he won.
Oh, he wasn't surprised? Well, damn, I wasn't surprised for the 6-0. Damn.
Regardless if Mirrorman was being serious or not, which I'm sure he wasn't, I still think this made for one of the best stories to come out of Multiversus yet. What's another story, maybe more in the 1v1 area, that's piqued my interest in Multiversus? Let's talk about a 1v1 set that will go down in Multiversus history. We've seen not only some amazing platform fighter veterans come to the game and find some great success, like aforementioned Nakat and Void, but what about some newer players that maybe weren't known in the competitive field until now? Zoo and Chavo, who are 2 people that went to EVO together as a duo and managed to land 9th place playing 2 different characters who were considered not very viable in the 2v2 setting. These 2 continue to rival at a local called Multiversus Mayhem, which has housed some of the most incredible sets in Multiversus 1v1 history. For some reason, the battle has always been between Batman and Finn, 2 characters who honestly are extremely popular and very common picks in the current Multiversus meta. But why is that? Well, there's one thing you might not expect a Rushdown to be good at or be known for. Projectiles. Batman and Finn are known for having not only really good Rushdown tools, but also probably 2 of the best projectiles in the game. Batman has a move called Batarang that essentially makes it so he can throw out a boomerang that will follow him wherever he goes, and as long as he dodges through it or keeps it active, he can direct the direction it goes and also have it follow him for a very extended amount of time. Of course, this projectile has been endlessly nerfed, but still is an amazing neutral tool and has helped Batman players like Zoo shoot to the heights and reach incredible milestones so far in the 1v1 competitive scene. On the other hand, you have Finn, who honestly has one of the most unique sword fighter kits I've ever seen. Imagine a sword fighter who has elements of many different characters from Smash with air combos that look absolutely badass, and I mean, who doesn't think it's awesome whenever a 13-year-old is ladder comboing you for 30%? I don't really know what to tell you if you don't think that's cool. But speaking of projectiles, Finn's projectile is arguably one of the best in the game. Finn essentially gets 100 coins every time he attacks you successfully. Now, if he lands one of these attacks and then picks up one of those coins, which lasts about 10 seconds on the ground, he now will be able to buy something called the gem. The gem is an item that basically is the anti-disadvantage item. This item you can pick up and throw as Finn, and by inputting side special, you can basically teleport across the stage as a projectile. Think of it like Peach's down special from Smash, but imagine she could teleport to it. Yeah, pretty crazy. So I've talked about Zoo and Chavo, who have been longtime sparring partners and of course have played the Batman-Finn matchup to the end. But what about that Finn player I zoomed in on a few minutes ago, who has placed first at aforementioned Zedistruction tournament in New York many times, and has overall shown that despite the fact that Finn wasn't picked in the meta for a very long time up until about a month or two ago, Finn has some crazy sauce. As the meta began to develop, Finn became a pretty strong character and a pretty prominent character in the meta. And as Ghopo continued to collect these Zedistruction wins, AJAX 2022 was coming up, which, if you didn't know, is one of the most popular Smash tournaments in history, and also happened to have a Multiversus undercard going on. Unfortunately, they only ended up streaming top 4, and I tuned in just soon enough to see the set of Zoo versus Ghopo, a collision course that was guaranteed to have an amazing outcome. As game 1 begins, we see both players go for a very aggressive start. Zoo manages to land a 40% string and does a ton of damage to Finn here. Now, we kind of see as the game developed that the game evened out a lot more, and we see Ghopo land a crazy combo here into a gem snipe, landing at 120% kill. This gives Ghopo a nice lead, but unfortunately for him, it ends off swiftly as he only is able to do 15%. As the stocks continue, Zoo shows his low percent dominance as he continues to do more and more damage, and it seems that Ghopo is able to catch up and nullify those leads very easily, as shown before. So now, Ghopo goes for another snipe here with his gem, gets Zoo off stage with a down tilt, sends a nair out, and then goes for a double backpack, which is a crazy read that was a really good win for Ghopo to have. Game 2 is just as fast paced as Game 1, as already right off the bat, Finn manages to find a down tilt here, almost sending him down to the blast zone, and continues these combos with insane velocity and sending out moves extremely quick. And Zoo goes for the reversal here and tries to get a bat bomb on him, but unfortunately for him, Finn does get that down tilt, and that's a 37% confirm. As this game continues, Ghopo finally laps his percent until Zoo finds a crazy double uppercut that kills him at 110. And as you can see, Zoo, his previous dominance with early percents, of course he was able to come back and do a lot, but unfortunately for him, there goes 110%, and that's a backpack kill for him. And now 85%, this is a completely winnable game for Batman here as he chases him up and gets that bat bomb and a double uppercut. A very necessary comeback as the game gets more and more intense. And at 50%, both players could easily lose their stocks at any time. And there comes a bat bomb from Zoo there, and a crazy uppercut read gets a 72% kill, which finds Zoo 1-1 with Ghopo. The tensions flare up as the game begins, and Zoo manages to juggle around Finn for about 30% here, which is a really nice lead to have, but of course, with these two Rushdown characters, anything could change at any moment. Now, finally, Ghopo starts to land those reads, evening out the percent, and Zoo comes back for retaliation, and the two are almost even at this point. As you can see how even the neutral is, both players end up taking each other's stocks and evening the game back out. Unfortunately though, Finn is now at 100% and able to die to Zoo at any time. And Ghopo is definitely under a lot of pressure right now to try to come back. 124 kills him with the down air, and the gem is so important here to try to get some sort of offstage kill. And oh my god, Ghopo goes for a crazy projectile snipe that manages to kill off Zoo at a very early percent. This was super necessary for how behind he was, and even though he did whiff that down air into backpack, he manages to land another gem snipe, catching him at 100, which was a very unfortunate death for Zoo, but a crazy clutch up for Ghopo. Honestly, an incredible interaction. With the stakes higher than ever, and Zoo about to be eliminated, Zoo had to figure something out. Let's see what he had in mind.
Covering that position so wisely, but now the warp comes through at one of the last possible seconds to buy even more space and be able to get your feet planted. Yeah. Had a few more X Factor KOs and tried to go for something really cute with that grapple. Gonna find nothing and using the gem to outlast the batarang. But there we go, happened. But Ghopo just 1 point away from winning it all. But at 138 damage, Zoo looking to take us to game number 4, and he will do just that. But not able to convert anything off of that, and yeah, you get hit by the strongest part of that special right there, more than enough to get the KO. Oh, this is going to hurt a lot, Snacks.
Yeah, 30 damage already. That's a big
like, you know, you're not out of it, but wait, this bomb could cause a lot of trouble. Are we up there? All the way in the corner.
Yeah, Chase is all the way to the side, able to get to the point. This could be it. Just one more to bring you to a second set, and it does! The down air way off stage, punishes the lag, and Zoo is...
The reset. This is one of the most elusive things in a double elimination bracket. Not only do you have to fight through a much tougher losers bracket most of the time, but at the end, you also have to play 2 sets. And this is only if you manage to win the first one. All the winner has to do is just take 3 games over you in a best of 5, and it's over. Now imagine playing against the second seeded player, but instead of having to beat him in a set once, you have to beat him in a set twice. This isn't any easy feat, and that is why it's very hard to come back after a loser's bracket run. Can Zoo really make that happen? He was already halfway there, and the game was even. It was just whoever was going to be able to take the next set. One thing I notice about these two on their characters is that one thing they don't do is give up. We've seen so many times throughout these games a person make a comeback, which usually seems impossible at the time. This usually was in the form of Ghopo, where there's times where he'd be straight up 2 stocks behind and would just make an insane comeback. And you see there, Ghopo got a nice 70% combo, but as this game continues, Zoo shows that he's not just going to let this be a free win for Ghopo. He lets him take a stock there, but begins to even out the game a lot more and does get that stock lead, only having 5% to spare. But Ghopo didn't want to give up there. He took 36% off Zoo and then sent a gem and managed to find a 51% confirm off of several different well-spaced side specials. This was of course very demoralizing for Zoo, as he kept trying as hard as he could to chase after him, but that dare closes it out and ends off game 1 of the reset, giving game 1 to Ghopo. The second game starts and we notice that it's again very even. 92% to 115 now as the damage continues to be racked on as they both go into their combo game, and unfortunately that up tilt does end it for Zoo, causing him to have a slight disadvantage in the situation, but with Batman's incredible uppercut you never really know what's going to happen. So one thing I've noticed is that Gem is definitely causing a lot of openings for Ghopo, and I'm noticing that Batman is able to find a lot of combos off of Fair, which is a very good option for Batman, as it's very easy to get in with it because you can, use your momentum to get in there with it. And slide out of the smoke is also a really good tech he seems to be using very often to catch Ghopo off guard. Landing have that nice stock lead with only 47%, which is a crazy and very convenient lead to have versus such a swingy character. And overall, Ghopo does try to go for that weight and tries to read him, but unfortunately runs out of resources and gets caught on the ledge, causing him to die pretty early. Now, again, it's 1-1. No player has a decisive lead here. You could argue the momentum may be in one way or another, but overall, with how different these characters can be each game and how much, oh wow. And again, I literally forgot about that actually happening. That's how crazy that is that is such a hard snipe to land, and Ghopo has admitted himself that he actually uses the C stick to land those snipes, and he aims it that way instead of using the actual main stick on the left side of the controller, which is pretty crazy to think about. So noticing that he's able to find these really nice gem snipes, finding him these 50% kills is definitely keeping him in a good position, considering Zoo takes a very, very strong and commanding neutral most of the time. And again, a well-spaced up tilt lands an even last stock, 2-2, and even though that combo did get cut off, it did a lot of damage to Finn there, and overall put him in a tough spot, as both these players really want this 2-1 lead, because it creates a lot of comfort and gives you the last game to adapt and change up if you're losing. 140% that up tilt was enough to end it. The next game continues, and 2-1. Ghopo has the lead here, and it looks like Zoo is able to take that first stock, which is very fortunate for him, and he very much needed that in such an intense situation. This is game 9, so any subsequent losses are extremely impactful. As Zoo continues to pressure and lap that percent, Ghopo wants to go on the defensive. He throws out his gem and whiffs it a little bit. He gets hit by that batarang and realizes he has to go off stage. That down special almost finds it and almost kills Finn there, but as you can see, he does end up living there, and wow, just look at that dominance. 2 stock lead for Zoo, and he even continues this lead, getting 25-30 and continues to rack on that damage as the stock continues, and Finn does find that up tilt. Ghopo definitely needed that stock, when such a desperate situation. And as the game continues, we see Ghopo not give up. It's almost, even back out. All he has to do is just play out one more stock after this backpack finds it with the Dare Nair backpack confirm. Really solid find. And 106-3, it's definitely possible with how much damage Finn can rack on and how easily he can kill. And just fast forward here, after a really slow neutral, unfortunately some bad DI kills Ghopo. And at 130, that ends the stock for him. 2-2. The most intense score a best of 5 set can have. The question is, who's going to be the one to take it? The Batman player, known for his ability to win the Finn matchup, and also has been notoriously known for creating really strong combos, or the very highly experienced Ghopo, who has played countless locals and also has just as much game knowledge as Zoo. I'll let the match speak for itself.
Game of the tournament. Here we go. Zoo and Ghopo have been fighting and scrapping for the last half hour, taking each other to the brink, and it all comes down to this. Here we go, grand final.
And Zoo off to a really hot start. That 40 damage combo into chase into another combo, and it's still going. Is the Batbot going to do it?
No, because Ghopo is able to get back to the ground just barely enough. And now the projectile gun ability actually taking Batarang out of the equation for the next few seconds. So Zoo has to hang out and just kind of play a little bit passive until he gets that resource back.
Ghopo has been very willing to sort of sit back near the edge of the stage, and wow, that's a pretty early kill under at the beginning of this game. I think we're going to need a couple of special plays in order for Ghopo to make this happen.
Yeah, you need some mega X Factor. You need to hit the wildest plays I've ever seen Sin or Finn play. And I've already seen a few of those from Ghopo.
Yeah, you're not good. I mean, if there's a player to do it, it's Ghopo. Ghopo has shown some very dynamic offense, is more than willing to make those special plays using things like the gem, to go way off stage, into the blast zone with the backpack or what have you. And I think we're going to need some of those. It's a full point difference at this point.
Yeah, and climbing every second. I know it's on Ghopo's mind. I need to get this KO. I cannot fall behind like this. If I get KO'd again, it's a wrap. We're done. And Zoo, I think, he's trying to close it out. And we'll find that hit on the top of the screen. You can see it on Ghopo's face. Very disappointed, but not out of it just yet because this is how it starts. It's always the first hit.
Now, we haven't seen very many. It was a great job of getting out of the way. Once the combo's done, gets out of the way and resets to that position where Batman is so strong. A little bit of mid-range where he can use the Batarang.
Absolutely. Okay. Gets that. Oh, but the Bat Bomb interrupted and almost converted off of the tournament-winning kill. Zoo, at match point, almost able to take this whole thing home from losers. And that side air, too. He's trying to end it with the spike. Sheesh.
Yeah, Fates with the down special, the down attack. Hey, no money in the bank. That backpack sends him nowhere.
The gem snipe tries to go for a cheeky kill. I like that.
You have to when you're over 100 already.
But Batman was already out of dodge. Zoo just trying to walk this home, trying to avoid the apples. Finds the Batarang. That could be it.
He waits.
That will be it. Zoo takes it 3-2. Game 10 grand final.
I'm finishing this outro on the day that Multiversus Mayhem is happening once again. It seems that Ghopo decided to attend this time. Now, we might get to see a Zoo versus Ghopo rematch. We'll just have to see. And honestly, I cannot be more excited for it. Overall, guys, I hope if you have kind of dabbled in multiverses or if you're really experienced in multiverses, I hope you enjoyed. This honestly took so much work to put together, and I've always been super inspired by these video essay or kind of more storytelling type of video. Overall, I just want to say thank you guys for checking it out. And as a final shout out, if you enjoyed any part of this video, please make sure you support me in any way possible. I have a bunch of socials in the description below. I have a Metafy, so if you want to learn more about Finn and learn, or even just play against me and learn the matchup, I'd totally be down. Definitely check that out and see if you're interested. And again, I'd really appreciate any sort of, checking out my socials or subscribing would also help a lot. So yeah, thank you guys so much. Appreciate you guys coming by and have a good one. Peace out.